Howdy again, this is tubalcain with the follow-up and answer to the video entitled Guess the Mystery Tool number 1, and there was quite a nice response to that. This is just a few days before the 7 days that I was going to leave it on, or 9 days, I haven't decided yet. But at this point there was about 150 answers, and there were quite a few that were correct. And some were so correct that they even gave me the patent. And one was Jesse Sorensen, I'm not sure if I should be mentioning names, and Honda Cycle, Alex Norstrand, Rob Gale, and Travis from Oregon. All seem to know what it was, or have used one. And the correct answer, of course, is that it's an armored cable. It's right on here, armored cable tool, patented, and it says Triangle on it, so I don't know if Triangle was the name of the company or not. Now, many of you guessed that it was a fencing tool, and that kind of makes sense, or some of you guessed that it was some kind of tubing tool. Now, if you haven't seen that video, go back and watch it under tubalcain. Mystery tool number 1, and I think I'll do a mystery tool number 2 also, so watch for that. Now, many of you also guessed that it was an electrical tool of some kind, or a lineman's tool, and I guess you were partially right on that. So let's see what this thing does. Take the time to pause your video and read this. Now, here is the Google search that'll take you right to the patent number. I'll try to put the link on this video under description, but I'm not sure that YouTube takes links, I forgot. But this was patented in 1925 or 6. And the inventor was Florian Froschhauser. And I believe he spent his final days in an insane asylum after having gone through this nightmare. Now, this is just a small portion of the description. Read through the whole thing, and you'll be amused even by the wording and what it was meant to do. So, take the time to do that. I think you'll like that. Now, this is what is meant by armored cable. Maybe some of you have never seen it, but it is still used, and you can still buy it. Matter of fact, this piece is brand new. But it goes under several names. Sometimes it's called BX, and it may not be called by the same name in different places in the country or different countries. But flexible conduit is called. Now, I bought this down at the hardware store. This was $2 worth, by the way, without the wires in it. Now, when I was a kid working in a hardware store, we called it, when it was empty, we called it Greenfield. Now, I don't know if that was correct or not, but everybody called it Greenfield where I worked. And if it came with the wires in it, it was BX. Now, I used to cut this off with a hacksaw in the hardware store, and I didn't care if I cut through the wires because I was selling it by the foot. So if a guy wanted 10 feet, you just cut through the whole thing, and it was still a nightmare, and I probably bled many a time with the jagged edges here. And but if an electrician is trying to saw through it, but just through the armored cable or the armored sheathing and not the wire, often he nicks the wire or even cuts the wire and spoils the job and has to start over. So that was the whole principle of this thing, was to avoid damaging the wire and making it easier for a tradesman, electrician, and faster. They always want faster, you know. So let's take a look at how I'm going to use this thing. And the clue for many of you when you deduce what this was, if you didn't already know, is that the little grooves here will accommodate the corrugations on this stuff. As some of you so aptly pointed out, the fallacy of this whole thing is that rather than squeezing it to break this. You pull it apart, and it did require considerable effort. So if I'm not able to do it on the bench here, I might have to put it on the floor. I think that's how I did it before, and put my foot on one and use two hands to pull the other. But what it's going to do to start with is to break the cable. And we used to sometimes do that at the hardware store too. You would break it, and then you were cutting through just like the one layer rather than the rest of it. So let's see if I can break this. Yeah. All right. Did you see how it broke it? And you know what? This little what I call beak here missed its target because it's supposed to get right in here and grab that. So I'm going to do that over. Sorry, that did work. I didn't open it quite far enough. And when I open it a little farther, can you see where the beak is going to grab there and cut? And now I'm going to push together. And I think that takes quite a bit of effort, and that's supposed to shear it. There's my oil can. Actually, that worked quite well. And then that part would be the waste. And see, it did not in any way damage the wire. Pretty slick, huh? Now it's got some other uses here too. It's got the pliers. Some of you called it a multi-tool because we're in the Leatherman age here, you know. A lot of you guys have Leatherman. And that pulls right out. Now that's mighty wicked there. Now at the hardware store where I go, they have a little device that clamps around here, and you crank it. It has a tiny little saw blade that saws through that. So there's still all kinds of nightmarish inventions to deal with this product. Now this comes in different sizes too, but this is the half-inch size, I believe they call it. But it comes in rather large pieces too, and this would only accommodate the this particular size. Now let me try it again. This is kind of fun, actually. Place it into the jaws, like that. And I'm going to pull apart now. That's what it looks like when I pull apart. Now the hawk beak's going to go in there and do the cutting. I have to admit, that's pretty neat. And then I take it out, and we got a shear here. Let's see if that will cut the wire. That looks like a little overkill, doesn't it? And again, I got to pull it apart. It seems backwards to do the cutting. And I cut it right off. You know, if you've ever used this material, Greenfield or BX, now it goes into various fittings, and the fittings would cover up this mangled end. But it isn't very pretty the way it cuts here. Here's another view of this. I just ran some steel wool over it. Triangle armored cable cutter. Patent pending. Well, we know the patent went through because we got a copy of it. And that's it, people, for mystery tool number 1. If you liked that, subscribe to my channel and tell your friends about it. I was a little disappointed with this, and I'm thinking about disabling the thumbs up and the thumbs down, because I don't know, I sure do get a lot of thumbs down, but I don't know why, other than I do know there are trolls that patrol YouTube, and all they do is go around and give you know, thumbs down and cause as much havoc as they can rather than doing something creative themselves. But with that note, watch my 300 other shop videos if you haven't. And that's it for Mystery Tool #1 video.